They told us the royal feud was cooling down, but the reality is about to get even uglier. While Prince Harry makes his desperate attempt to patch things up, Meghan Markle is holding the cards, and her conditions are shocking. Tonight, we peel back the curtain on the two demands that could decide whether the royal family ever sees a truce, or whether the divide deepens forever. Prince Harry's visit to the UK last week was painted as a breakthrough. He walked into Clarence House, sat down with his father King Charles, and for a moment, just a moment, it felt like reconciliation might finally be on the horizon. After years of bitterness, leaks, accusations, Netflix specials, and that infamous memoir, the simple act of father and son meeting was treated like a historic milestone. Commentators whispered about a turning point. The press speculated about a thaw. But behind the scenes, the reality is far colder. Because while Harry is extending an olive branch, Meghan Markle is standing firm. She hasn't set foot in the UK since 2022, and by all accounts, she's in no rush to return. Her absence is not a scheduling accident, not a quiet oversight. It's a statement. And according to insiders, Meghan isn't interested in healing the rift unless her own conditions are met. 2 demands, 2 ultimatums, no movement until they're satisfied. This is the real story. The image of Harry flying solo into London, shaking hands and smiling for the cameras, while Meghan remains thousands of miles away in Montecito. It's not about convenience, it's about leverage. Harry may want peace, but Meghan wants power, and she knows the royal family cannot ignore her. Royal author Tom Quinn described it bluntly. Meghan won't budge without 2 things, an apology and niceness. In other words, she wants the royal family to bow their heads, admit their faults, and then prove through action that she's welcome. Without it, no reconciliation, no return, no healing. Think about the audacity of that demand, the centuries-old institution that has bent prime ministers, shaped empires, and survived scandal after scandal, being asked to apologise to Meghan Markle. And let's be clear, this isn't just about a polite sorry. It's about a groveling apology, a symbolic bending of the knee, an act that would cement Meghan's narrative, that she was wronged, that she was mistreated, and that she deserves to be acknowledged as the victim of the monarchy's cold machinery. For the royal family, that would be humiliation. For Meghan, victory. But here's where it gets even more dramatic. While Meghan holds her position, Harry is caught in the middle. He still speaks to some of his relatives, though not his brother, Prince William, and certainly not Princess Kate. The once praised Fab Four have disintegrated into silence and bitterness, and the cracks have only widened since Harry launched his tell-all memoir Spare and the Netflix docuseries that tore into palace life. Those projects may have brought in millions for the Sussexes, but they burned bridges in a way that's almost impossible to repair. And yet, Harry keeps trying. He talks about reconciliation. He attends charity events in Britain. He meets his father. He tells interviewers he wants his children, Archie and Lilibet, to know their homeland. He even admitted recently that the idea of bringing them back to the UK is now closer than we think. But the one factor standing in the way? Meghan. She doesn't forget. She doesn't forgive. Not without her conditions being met first. Now here's the twist that makes this story more than just family drama. Because while Harry tries to rebuild bridges, Meghan's absence isn't just noticed, it's exploited. Every time Harry walks into an event without her, the tabloids sharpen their knives. Every time Meghan stays behind in California, it fuels whispers of division. And the public is left wondering, is this marriage unified behind closed doors? Or is Harry carrying the weight of reconciliation on his shoulders alone? But the plot thickens. Meghan may demand apologies, but Harry isn't shy either. His recent interview with The Guardian showed that, if necessary, he will keep speaking out. "My conscience is clear," he said, doubling down on everything he's already revealed. And commentators are warning, this is no longer the Harry who bites his tongue. If the royal family tries to silence him again, he'll go public. Again. No hesitation, no filter, no holding back. That's the leverage he carries. And while this might look like a chess match between the Sussexes and the monarchy, the real collateral damage lies with their children. Archie and Lilibet, growing up oceans away from cousins George, Charlotte and Louis. Critics argue that their Californian upbringing strips them of a vital part of their heritage. Royal biographer Hugo Vickers even called it disappointing, pointing out that one day the children will realise what they missed, the chance to grow up as part of one of the most famous families on earth, the chance to bond with cousins who will shape the monarchy's future. Instead, they live in a gilded bubble, thousands of miles from the palace walls. Now, here's where you need to stay with me, because the story doesn't end here. Harry's solo trips, Meghan's ultimatums, the children's uncertain future, these are pieces of a much larger game, a game of image, power, and control. And while the royal family projects stability on the outside, inside, they know one wrong move could ignite another explosion. So, let me ask you, do you think Meghan deserves that apology? Or should the monarchy stand firm and refuse to bend? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is where the battle lines are drawn. And don't go anywhere, because in part 2, we're diving into the aftermath of Harry's bombshell interviews, the whispers of betrayal surrounding William and Kate, and the shocking U-turn Harry just made about Archie and Lilibet's future in Britain. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. And here's where the curtain gets pulled back even further. Because while Meghan holds her line with her 2 demands, Harry himself is wading into dangerous territory, one where every move, every word, and every interview is a potential landmine. After his visit to the UK, Harry didn't quietly slip back to California and fade into the background. No, he gave yet another interview, this time to The Guardian, and in it he delivered a chilling reminder. My conscience is clear. Translation: he has no regrets about the memoir, the Netflix series, or any of the bombshells he and Meghan have dropped over the past 5 years. But he went further. He made it crystal clear that if he needs to speak out again, he will. There's no leash anymore, no filter, no palace PR team pulling the strings. Harry now operates entirely on his own terms, and royal commentators are warning, this is the Duke of Sussex unchained. Emily Nash, a seasoned royal editor, put it bluntly. Harry will share his opinions freely, without hesitation, and that means the monarchy can never again rely on his silence. Think about what that does to the royal family's carefully built image. For centuries, silence was their weapon. Never complain, never explain. It's the rule that kept scandals from spiraling out of control, the rule that allowed them to weather storm after storm. But Harry ripped that rulebook to shreds. Every podcast, every interview, every sit-down with the press becomes a threat. What will he reveal next? Who will he throw under the bus? And the monarchy knows it. Now layer that with William. For years, William has played the steady hand, the heir who doesn't lash out, the future king who doesn't make headlines for the wrong reasons. But in private, sources whisper that William's fury is unmatched. His relationship with Harry is frozen solid, locked in silence. Not a single meeting, not a single word exchanged, even during Harry's recent visit. And when you strip away the royal protocols, the titles, the pomp, you're left with two brothers who simply cannot stand to be in the same room. William's silence isn't just anger, it's strategy, because he knows the second he responds, the second he lets emotion slip, Harry will have ammunition for the next reveal. William's entire position depends on discipline. But behind the walls of Kensington Palace, insiders claim the frost is so deep that reconciliation between the brothers is no longer seen as possible. And then there's Kate, once the smiling, stabilising force in the so-called Fab Four, now reduced to a figure of speculation. Did she push Meghan out? Did she clash with her over-palace traditions? The truth is murky, but the fallout is undeniable. Once billed as a modern team to drag the monarchy into the future, the Fab Four have disintegrated into two isolated couples. One preparing to rule, the other preparing to burn bridges forever. And let's not forget the children. Because for all the attention on Meghan and Harry, it's Archie and Lilibet who stand at the heart of this tug-of-war. They've grown up in Montecito, a world of sunshine, celebrity neighbours and Hollywood deals. But what they haven't had is a single, meaningful bond with their cousins. No playdates with George, Charlotte or Louis. No shared Christmases at Sandringham. No summer adventures at Balmoral. Royal biographer Hugo Vickers warned that one day those children will look back and realise the truth. They were cut off from their heritage, from the chance to live inside the storybook world their cousins will inherit. Imagine the moment Archie discovers that while George is preparing for the crown, he barely knows him. That while Charlotte attends royal events, he was photographed walking to school in California. That while Louis makes headlines at Trooping the Colour, Archie and Lilibet remain strangers in their own family. Disappointing doesn't even begin to describe it. And yet, here's the twist. Harry just made a U-turn. For years, he insisted his children wouldn't be safe in the UK. He battled the Home Office in court, demanding royal-level security that was stripped away after he stepped down. He told interviewers he feared for their safety. It was the iron wall that kept Archie and Lilibet in America. But now, he says the idea of bringing them back is closer than we think. What changed? Did his meeting with King Charles soften his stance? Did he suddenly see the value in reconnecting his children with their heritage? Or, and this is the critical question, is it part of a new strategy to negotiate from strength? Because, make no mistake, Meghan's demands are not going away. If Archie and Lilibet are to set foot in Britain, it won't be without Meghan's approval. And Meghan's approval comes with a price: apology, acknowledgement, niceness. Until then, she stays away. Until then, the divide stands. And here's the brutal irony. While Harry and Meghan demand apologies and niceties from the royal family, they've built an empire on tearing that same family apart. Spare wasn't just a memoir, it was an attack. The Netflix docuseries wasn't just entertainment. It was a dismantling of palace traditions in front of a global audience. They've monetized their grievances, turned their feud into a brand, and now they want to walk back into the fold on their terms. So, let's be honest. What are the odds the monarchy bends? King Charles may have extended his hand to his son, but will he humiliate himself by apologising to Meghan? Will William, who has spent years biting his tongue, grovel to the woman he sees as the spark that ignited this inferno? The answer seems obvious. And yet, the game drags on, because both sides need something from the other. Harry wants connection. Meghan wants acknowledgement. The monarchy wants silence, and none of them are willing to fully give in. So, we're left with this stalemate. Meghan in California, issuing her demands. Harry, caught between loyalty to his wife and longing for his heritage. William and Kate, determined to keep their distance. Charles clinging to the hope of unity while knowing that unity may never come. And the children, the innocent pawns in a feud that shows no sign of ending. Here's where I turn it over to you. If you were King Charles, would you swallow your pride and apologise just to bring Meghan back into the fold? Or would you call her bluff and let the rift remain permanent? Because one thing's for sure, this isn't over, not by a long shot. And don't forget, this channel will be following every twist, every interview, every royal whisper. So hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts below, and stay tuned. Because the next chapter of this saga is coming, and when it does, we'll be here to break it down, ruthlessly, critically, and without compromise.